was Chief DePino last week that I was going to put together a packet for her.
Yeah.
Because I just got back. I was out of town.
Do you have a website?
Yeah. Oh, well,
Put that stuff on your website.
Well, see, our website is our financial site.
Oh.
But we do have a special Saturday page that I can put this out there. I mean, I have pictures of this library over here.
Yeah.
And again, this hasn't happened in a while. These are old. This is better. But they were from when Phil had the condo upstairs. Literally.
Condo upstairs of the library.
He used to live in 100 Central. He used to live upstairs from there.
Oh, so he's a rich guy.
So he's one of the rich guys that they know. So when he looked down, you literally would have pictures where there was urine, vomit, guys passed out. I mean, everywhere, just disgusting. And you'd go talk to the guy over at 50. They had a bunch of pictures of every time they'd go to clean up their garbage. There was
people fishing
feces and all kinds of stuff over there. They would go in the back and they would like take their wine bottles that only had a little bit left. I guess they were just trying to get the last drops out, and then they'd have broken glass like everywhere because they destroy the bottles after they had the last few drops. So he'd have to go out there every morning and clean that up. And so the big thing is at the end of the day, I just come back to the same thing. It doesn't matter what.
Didn't you have an intern to sweep the?
Oh, that's the building manager next door. I don't think he really gets an intern.
Interning in building management. I mean,
But so anyway, that's how we came to do the Saturday show. But what's kind of happened is we're almost right. Okay, good. Thanks. So what's happened is now because the show's become so popular. We have gotten involved in the local politics. We actually work with John Susi at the Sarasota Phoenix. I don't know.
Oh, do you?
John's a co-host on our show. He actually just couldn't be here today.
But
normally the way we do our show since
I haven't seen him or heard from him for a while, and then when Susan Chapman made that quip about him passing away, I thought, oh my goodness, I thought he did. And then when everybody laughed, I said, oh, it's just a joke.
No. I was going to ask you about that actually if you'd heard about that. I just saw it.
I just caught it on Rochelle Judley posted on politically personal. I was looking at that. I thought that was a joke. But I was like.
Oh yeah, Chapman definitely doesn't like any of us.
Well, no, wait a minute now. Susie has really picked on her.
Oh yeah, no, there's no.
Yeah. So I mean, she's entitled to not like him. I mean.
No, she's absolutely entitled to not like him. I have no issue with that. I'm sure she don't like me either, and the feeling's mutual.
Why would she not like you?
We go after her as much, if not more, than Susie does.
Well, what did she do?
It's not what she. It's not anything she did to us personally. Yeah. It's her involvement in everything. And I can give you a million stories. Let's back up.
Now, me on the other hand, I'm involved in different things, not the same things she's involved in. I'm involved in Linux. I've been trying to get the city to switch their computer systems to Linux because it would save them $200,000 a year, and they're way behind on police pensions and pre-93 health. They need to start cutting spending, and that's a low-hanging fruit. Because Linux, I mean, I had a campaign event a couple weeks ago, and I set a Linux computer there, and I just told people to play with it, and they could sit down, right down, and use it. I mean, it was, it's completely different. Right. It's a completely different code base than Windows. But it winds up on the screen being the same thing.
Well, the only issue with that would be, I don't know their setup, so I can't comment on it, but it depends on if they have any proprietary things that only run on Windows. I don't know what system they integrate with.
There are non-proprietary software packages that do the same thing and produce a file, they produce a file of the completed work that is compatible with.
Well, I would assume everything that they do there is just standard database stuff, so I'm sure there's some.
Did you know that the city doesn't have a database? They've got a bunch of little databases, but none of them are integrated with each other. If you get a public records request, it might take them 3 days to fulfill it because they're running around with floppy disks.
Right, they don't have
I mean, it's not that they don't want to give the information; it's that they can't. And it's like wow,
it's amazing.
It's just a hodgepodge of things that over the years, they start out with one system, then they change to another system, but they have to keep the old system for the old data, and it's like, oh, geez.
Right.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you didn't interrupt at all.
Yeah.
No, to me, I think that a lot of those types of things need to be looked into. I agree with you as far as that goes. The problem that we've had at City Hall, and I'm sure most would agree with this, is that there has been so much controversy, whether it's the silent stuff going on, whether it's the lift station, whether it's and there's been so much stopping the city from being able to focus on the jobs. There's been too much politics, so to speak.
Politics and politics?
Right.
Let me get your name. I don't want
Donald?
to spell it wrong. D. Oh, darn this cheap pen.
I can get you a pen. You need a pen?
Donald what?
Cogswell. COGSWELL.
Are you related to the Cogswell Vega guy?
No.
Oh, that was, an 80s, 70s or 80s
No.
custom race car. No, that might have been Cosworth. I think it was Cosworth. Oh, it's so long ago. You're getting old when the things you remember you're not sure of anymore.
I think that happens after having kids, at least for me.
Oh, your kids cause you to grow old?
Yeah, I have 3 of them, so.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice little family. I've always wanted to have children, but I've never been able to get the right kind of cooperation. Maybe later. 68. Can't be too much later.
You never know.
So, I interrupted you again.
No, it's okay. No, I was going to say, we can go ahead and get started with the interview, because I think that I'd love to have you in here anytime. I don't, all these notes.
Questions?
No, none of this is, I can tell you right now what this is. These are just notes I was going to ask you. I was watching some of the videos on your site.
Oh.
So they were just kind of reminders
you
for
like
me
those?
to look at. Yeah, I was just going to.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to have you on for, to be honest with you, is we didn't really know who you were, didn't know much about you. I think that a lot of our audience would feel the same way. Like, we know Dorfman very well. He used to actually co-host with us a long time ago. Yeah, he actually used to be on our show.
Well, he used to be a radio guy anyway.
Yeah, that's correct. So he used to co-host with us. We obviously know Chapman. We know Atwell. You're kind of the newcomer here for us anyway.
I'm the outlier.
So we wanted to bring you on and give you the opportunity to tell us what you're about, what your plans for the city are. And
I've run 3 times. The first time, I finished dead last. 71 votes behind some guy who had felony convictions.
Are you kidding?
He had felony convictions. Not only that, he didn't come to any of the forums. He only campaigned in one area of town, and he beat me 71 votes. Now, neither of us made the playoffs. But I mean, I thought to myself, well, here I am, knocking myself out, spending 64 years of my life being a good guy. He comes out of prison somewhere and beats me by 61 votes, 71 votes.
Unfortunately, that sounds about right for Sarasota.
Yeah, maybe.
At least from what I've been seeing.
Okay. Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get started.
All right, so we're going on right now, huh? Maybe.
Well, the way it works is our show actually airs on Saturdays. So we have everybody come in, we pre-record. If we go long, which typically happens with these things.
Then you edit it?
Then what we'll do is we can edit it, but put the full thing on the website. And you're welcome to do the same. And actually, another thing that I'll offer you that we do to everybody else, if you want to listen to the edited version before it airing, we can do that, and then you tell us if you don't want it to air, or if you want some change, or you feel it's saying it wrong. But with most of the editing, when he does it, Tommy doesn't edit to change what you're saying. He edits just to kind of get to the point and get. A lot of times we'll just be talking like we would normally, So
So I'm not concise enough.
Okay, no problem. All right, let me know when you're ready, Jaron. He's just gonna do a sound check. You don't hear anything?
I'm hearing this side, but not this side.
Yeah, it does that when he's talking. He's only
okay, all right. Oh, okay, so you're a rightist, eh? Oh.
Yeah, if he talks like during the thing, like if he gives us cues,
Yeah.
that does not go on the recording. So if he tells you, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like he'll let us know how long we're rolling.
Oh, so I've got the headphones on backwards then.
But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter which side it's on.
I see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
No, I'm on red. He's
10.
on green.
Green. Am I okay? 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's back far from the mic. Yeah, these things in this room, you gotta get close to them.
How's this?
Much better.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yep, we're good.
Sure. Been ready for
And
a minute.
your last name, Thiessen, is that proper?
Well, it depends on what branch of the family. My people call it Tyson.
Tyson. Okay.
But Thiessen isn't wrong. Some people pronounce it that way.
But you would prefer
Well,
Tyson.
we're used to Tyson.
understood. Okay.
Yes,
And you go by Pete?
I do.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
rolling.
All right, so good afternoon. Today we're here with our sorry. Good afternoon. Today we're here with our running for city commissioner is Pete Tyson. How you doing today, Pete?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate having you here at Phil's game. I wanted to give you the opportunity to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're running, what you think you're going to be able to do for the city, and most importantly, why our listeners should vote for you.
Oh, they should listen. They should vote for me, because if they're ordinary people, I represent their interests. I am an ordinary guy. I have not been involved in insider politics or backroom deals or, God forbid, anything worse than that. I first got interested in this in 2008 when it hit the papers that the police had been using an ordinance in the city to bust drug dealers. The police had been using this ordinance to bust drug dealers, and the city commission repealed it. And I looked at that report and I said, that is just plain stupid. Now, their reasoning for doing it, they said, well, it was racist. The actual law was, it made it illegal against an ordinance to spit on the street. Now, spitting is not a racial activity. I mean, I can't think of any race of people that's not able to spit.
Right.
And so it's not racist. And we've got 5 people who either thought it was racist or agreed with that assessment enough that they didn't oppose it, and it passed. And I thought to myself, I know some of these people, and they're not ordinarily that stupid, but all of a sudden you put the R word in front of them and they turn tail and run. And I says that this is just going completely bananas. And so I immediately filed for office. And I knew nothing about city politics. Of course, now I know that it's survival of the richest. But then I thought that it was a citizens board that we were looking at, and they were just unusually dumb. And it turns out they're, well, you don't exactly want to say corrupt, but, well, influenced by who's going to pass out the next campaign contributions, and this is always one class of people, the people that are involved in real estate development or real estate sales. It's like there's only one business in Sarasota, but that's not true. There are a number of different businesses. This is just the business that supports the political class, and no one else seems to. Well, anyway, but I didn't know that then, so I got into the race. This was actually the last at-large city commission race. And I campaigned. I put up a website, and my first article is still up on the same website, so they can look at elect-pete-theisen.com, and they can get into the archives down at the bottom of the menu for the bottom one, I think is January.
I'll place a link to your, I have your website.
Okay,
I'll put it on our Saturday page.
Well, anyway, they get down on the bottom and they can see the first article I've ever written, and now I've got about 135 or 140 articles. And so anyway, so I started doing that, and that was my main publicity because I could get that for free. The website was like, well, not free, but under $100. I already had it, and I just, was putting stuff up. But in order to get your message out, you have to have money for at least one mailing, and I've never had that. It's about $2,500 or $3,000. And so, without any money for a mailing, all I could do was attend the forums and post things on my website. And when all was said and done, I finished dead last, 71 votes behind another candidate who had felony convictions. And not just felony convictions, but he'd actually served time for this, and he'd come out of prison and decided he wanted to be a city commissioner. Now he never came to any of the forums. He was an empty chair at all the, they put a nice name tag for him, and he didn't come.
I'm surprised he didn't get elected.
That has happened.
I believe it.
That has happened. One of the county commissioners, current county commissioners, I think on one of her campaigns, she just didn't come to any of the things, and they elected her. And of course, she had the money to broadcast her point of view without any cross-examination. Now that's the beauty of having money. You can present your point of view, and the only people who can dispute it are other people with money. So I mean, there's a certain advantage there. Now, I mean, if I post something on Facebook, everybody in the world who disagrees with me, and they're, out in Russia or somewhere, but they speak English, they post something on there like, you're an idiot, or worse, and there it is for God and everybody to see, and that influences some people. So when you're dealing with free media, well, anyway, getting back to the first election, I finished dead last with a guy who never came to any of the forums, campaigned only in one part of town, and he beat me by 61 or 71 votes, something like that. And I thought, well, gee, I mean, it wouldn't hurt me so much if he didn't have the felony convictions, but he did. So I thought, okay. And then another opportunity come around to run for a district seat. So I thought, oh, well, okay, run for a district seat. I was a little more refined this time. I put a few $100 together and got some signs and went around and posted signs all around town. And I got a few more votes. That first time I got 1% of the vote. Last time I got 7% of the vote. Now there's two ways to look at this. It could be an additional 6%, or it could be a factor of 7. Now, if it's a factor of 7, 7 times 7 49, that'll put me in the runoffs.
Right.
So I may be in the runoff if it's a factor. Now, if it's just addition of 7 points, well, then look at 14% now. So we don't know what's going to happen yet. But anyway, I've been hammering away at it and continuing to add articles to my website, some of which I understand you've read.
Absolutely.
And
you have a lot of interesting videos on there, too.
Yeah. Oh, well, and there's the video camera, which cost me $40. And I power it from that jump box, which I use to start my car on cold mornings. So anyway, I'm a little more sophisticated than I was, and of course, attending the forums, you get a lot of input on what the issues are from the other candidates. You know, so you think, well, what's he talking about that for? And of course, my opinion is always just the opposite. Well, not quite. Yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple days ago, Saturday, I agreed with Richard on something. But since they didn't allow me to video it, I don't remember what it was. But anyway, one point agreeing with Richard, and well, practically all points agreeing with Susan. You know, now you know where to point your gun. But I was surprised. Oh, on reflection, not so surprised. The police didn't care for Susan very much, but she's been sitting on that review board, and the review board, of course, sees the police at their worst. You know, there wouldn't be a complaint unless the police had either made a mistake or had come close to making a mistake, or if not making a mistake, it just irritated someone. And so, you know, she's kind of immersed in that, and I'm a little bit, you know, distant from it. You know, I see the police as the guys who are keeping the bad guys from breaking into my house. So
right.
You know,
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Well, what out of all the issues facing the city, what are the most important ones to you right now?
Well, it's not the spitting decision anymore. I mean, I still think that was a bad decision, but right now, I've become aware of so many more worse decisions. 2 years ago, when I ran for the district seat, we were 180-something million in the hole on pensions. But we were supposed to be gaining on it by about 5 million a year. Now that's critical. Remember that figure. We're gaining on it 5 million a year. This year, 2 years later, we're 459 million in the hole. Now that we were gaining on 182 million, and now we're, whoa.
Right,
ding,
you'd be
ding,
172, but you're
ding,
at 40.
ding, 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 something is wrong here. And why? And so you have to start looking at spending, and I did. I put in a public records request, and I asked how many people have spending decision authority on the city staff. Now, the spending authority that I'm speaking of is the person with this authority can spend